Welcome to Geeks on Screens with Coffee. I'm going to say the 23rd of July, and I've got this wrong. Sorry. Come on, Mickey. Oh, Mickey's supposed to say it's 17, 15 minutes past 7. Oh,
Good evening.
sorry. I told you.
Well, I hear Mickey now.
I'm not very technical. So, hello, Ginger. Welcome to Geeks on Screens with Coffee. Let's do the things we need to do. So, syncing sound and vision for all the audio files. And everybody gets their name on a board.
Ooh.
They're real magnets
Very
and
nice.
everything. Right.
Well, of course they are. Because why would you have fake magnets? Yeah, whiteboard.
Yeah. And welcome to Geeks.
So, do you have a small child that no longer has toys to play with?
Yes. Yeah. Well, you take them away when they get to a certain age.
So that you can play with them and put them on whiteboards.
Well,
Thank you very much. I really appreciated you inviting me because you actually did something that never has happened to me before, because I was telling somebody about what I don't like about online events, because you never actually get to meet anybody new. And then he said, well, what are you doing this week? And I'm like, oh, I'm going to be on Geeks with Coffee. He's like, well, I said with Mark. He's like, oh, how'd you meet him? I'm like, the London Data Platform Users Group. So obviously you can meet people you don't know online. Just saying. You have to work at it, but it's possible.
and
For all those
we're,
people who hate the fact that we're all online.
and we're not all strange, really weird, creepy people
Some people.
that you meet online. So, first of all, let's introduce yourself.
Depends if you're using Zoom or not. So I will introduce myself. I've been doing recordings all day. I can repeat that. Hello, my name is Ginger Grant. I am a Microsoft Data Platform MVP and a Microsoft Certified Trainer. And I also have a class at Data Camp. I run my own data consultancy at Desert Isle Group. And I have my own blog at DesertIsleSQL. And I'm recently working on a book on cognitive services. And I have published a certification book on machine learning. If you'd like to get a hold of me, I'm often on Twitter at DesertIsleSQL. And that's my intro for my class.
Wow. I mean, have you been reeling that off multiple times today?
Yes.
Is it like
Because I screwed it up the first 4 times.
muscle memory? And now you can just
Yeah.
just that.
Well, it took me a long time. I hate writing. I mean, talking about yourself is always weird. So it took me a long time, and that's as good as it gets.
No, that was pretty good. So what do you, since it is Geeks on Screen with Coffee, I know this might seem, this is really,
Oh, nice.
this is really creepy.
Prince Charles mug with Lady Di. That's collectors. I'm sure that's worth some dough, right? Collector's item.
I don't know. I mean, this is just a daily mug. I mean, this is what we.
Is it?
Yeah. Just drinking out of Lady Di's head.
I am a bit of an Anglophile. I do know. I can name you all of the grandchildren of Prince Charles. Should you wish to hit me up on that? George, Charlotte, and Louis.
Do you know what, Charlotte? I wouldn't have known those. I'm not really much of a royalist.
And also Archie, who is named after a cartoon character here in America.
Is he really named after a cartoon character?
Well, there is a cartoon character named Archie. His name is Archie. So that's my story.
Okay, all right. And you're sticking with it?
That's how I'm sticking with it.
Welcome. Thank you for kind of, being on. First of all, I'm looking at that bookshelf. And, forget what we're going to talk about. I mean, we could spend... is that Babylon 5? DVDs or books?
No, those are like all books. I've got like Robert Jordan, a book of five that I read. I've got a sheep that I got from Redgate. I've got a surfing troll, a yo-yo, some Microsoft swag, an Adira duck. Got a lot of stuff there.
So we met at I was presenting at the London user group, and data Microsoft
On
Data
Synapse.
London. Well, mostly on SQL pools. Serverless. Let's get that right. Sorry. Not SQL on demand. Serverless. And you said you were giving me a hard time. I don't think you were giving me a hard time. You were just asking some really good questions.
Well, I was the only one who was commenting.
You were the only one awake.
Yes.
So do you go to many online user groups?
It depends on my schedule. I like to attend them because if you are going to present them, you ought to do the reverse and attend them because it's effective as somebody who is attending. But I try to be the kind of person that I would want if I was speaking. So I like when people ask questions, which is why I ask you questions.
Yeah. Well, it shows that people are actually engaged, and it makes you think about how you're presenting and, I didn't cover that, or that wasn't clear enough, or I didn't do a good enough job here. And then I was doing a little bit of research on you, not in a creepy way, just I mean, the first thing that comes up when you search for Ginger Grant is obviously Gilligan's Island, and then you go down a bit. Yeah,
nice lady.
And then you get to that you're presenting at Past Summit virtual. Is it?
Yes.
It's virtual, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Modern data warehousing and advanced analytics with Synapse.
Yes.
Right. I mean, since that's my wheelhouse as well, what are you going to do? I mean, just...
So primarily I'm going to talk about Synapse. And since the modern data warehouse, of course, includes files that may or may not be in the warehouse, and machine learning, because I do machine learning, and a little bit of orchestration, which isn't my favorite, so I won't be talking much about that. That's what I'm going to be talking about at PASS Summit. So I'm also doing a class for PASS on Synapse as well. So I'm all synapsed up.
Oh. So do people have to... I presume people have to pay for that. Are there many spaces left? And that's a whole day.
I don't know. It's the whole day.
I
know that there's a guy from Italy who's coming because he connected with me on LinkedIn and said he was really happy to make it. And I'm like, yay, I know I have one person.
Oh, come on. They must be sending you kind of updates with, I assume.
No, not.
Oh, okay.
No, I need to inquire because I can find that out, but I haven't because, working.
Yeah. But obviously, if people want to go and they want to learn about Synapse, then they can't go to a better place than you. And a whole day, I mean, I'm more interested in a whole day virtual class. Yes. I mean, that's a whole day real class is tough.
So I gave a trial run at in Brisbane, Australia, which was also fun because of the time zones, because I started at 3 and ended at midnight. So, 3 and a little bit before midnight, like 11. But that's kind of a different time that I'm generally working productively. So there's that aspect of it. But I also went to the Spark AI conference, which was held virtually, and I took a pre-con because they have great content, and also because I wanted to attend a pre-con as an attendee, and I realized how hard that is. And so I'm going to be adding a lot of things to engage the audience so that they're not just on screen. I want people to talk to me. I want to get feedback from what's going on, because otherwise it's a long time sitting in a chair watching a screen. So
yeah, well, it's going to be tough on you physically and mentally.
But it's hard. It's easier. So having been in both seats, I can tell you it's harder to listen than it is to present, because naturally I think the stuff is interesting or I wouldn't be telling it to you. But when you're sitting there, you're like, oh God, this is so boring. And I will say that the presentation that I watched at the Spark Summit, nothing wrong with the presenter, nothing wrong with the content. He was good. It was good content. It was well delivered. I just zoned out after a while because whole day.
So is it you on your own, or have you got someone who's going to take questions and field stuff so they're not interrupting you, or is there?
No, I'm going to deal with interruptions. Actually, I'm good with interruptions. I unfortunately have this really bad habit of doing that to people, so I'm good with it.
All right.
Hey, I'm honest.
Yeah, I'm sure, but it's just that kind of thing of if you're teaching and you're talking to it, and if you're not looking at the, that's just reminded me. If people are, people can ask you questions. I don't have the chat window up on.
Where's the chat window?
So people can put stuff into YouTube, and Facebook doesn't quite work. It doesn't feed back. But if you use Twitch and something else, and you put comments on the side. So if people did want to heckle, and they wanted to get there either an early dig in or some revenge on you, then that might be quite a good place.
Well, yeah, that could be deadly. Now I'm looking at myself on YouTube, but I don't see the chat, so I'm doing this wrong. Probably because I'm looking at it from within Twitter.
Yeah, if you go into normal YouTube client, but the thing is, as soon as you go into YouTube, does it start playing and then you start hearing the audio coming back?
Well, I did that, and very quickly, so you didn't even notice. I muted that so that we don't have the whole echo thing going on, because I speak enough to know that that's a bad idea.
I've done that before. I've gone onto YouTube.
I did it for like 2 seconds, but you didn't catch me at it.
So, I mean, well, tell me about Synapse. So, what is your favorite bit about Synapse? I mean,
the machine learning part.
Is it the machine? So, is it the Spark engine or the integration with Azure ML?
So, the integration with Azure ML, that's kind of funny, because I think it's kind of interesting that in the ML product, there are not any Spark clusters. You have to use the Spark clusters that you have in Databricks. But in Synapse, then there are Spark clusters. And I'm kind of thinking that Azure ML needs Spark clusters.
Ooh.
That's my theory.
Because
having done some things for example, I've done a demo on AutoML. And as you know, what you do with AutoML is you use Microsoft's API to run through a number of different algorithms to perform in the model to determine which is the best performing algorithm. And it's really cool because you can determine how many different iterations you want or how long you want it to run so that you save your Azure resources. Well, if I do the same code and I do it in Synapse, it runs faster because I'm running Spark clusters.
So I have some code you might like then.
Ooh.
I've got a notebook that uses scikit-learn to train a model and run through different alpha parameters to then find out the best model, and then pushes the resulting model into Azure ML, and then you can then operationalize it.
Yeah, I've looked at the Data Robot doing stuff like that too. So, and my name just gave me IO, whatever IO is. I name one out, but I know there's a number of different tools, and I think it's great that Microsoft, of course, has to play with that. One thing that I will say that I'm really sad about, though, is that I'm sad that notebooks are going away.
Notebooks are going away?
Notebooks are going away. If you go to notebooks.azure.com, you will be greeted with a message that's saying, hey, you can use us now, but on October 18th, this is going away.
No way, our free notebook service.
Yeah, I know. Now, I realize that there are notebooks in every single other product that you can use with the Microsoft Creates, but having that free notebook, I liked it because it was parity with the other vendors, who we won't name since given who you work for, who all have free notebooks.
You can mention other vendors. Just because I work for them. You can mention.
Just like Google's got free notebooks, Amazon's got free notebooks. So then Microsoft had free notebooks, but they won't after October 18th.
Oh. Just don't mention the company that begins with snow and ends in flake.
Yeah.
As long as you don't mention them, everything's good.
Yeah.
No,
I have a friend who does a lot of work with that.
No, it's a really good product. It does some. The scaling and stuff.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. It's so good that kind of we're bucking our game up.
So, there once upon a time in 2006, there was this product that was created at university for the Defense Department and revolutionized the way that people look at data. And it was called Tableau. And now they're number 2. So that's kind of what Microsoft does really well. They're really good at being the second guy out. So I have a whole lot of hope that Synapse, being the second out on the whole how one can do data warehousing in a columnar format that allows you to get data from different things like that other product, that the same thing will happen that happened with Power BI.
Yeah. Well,
because I don't consider Tableau much of a competitor anymore, but that has changed significantly.
You are. I mean, that used to be. I don't even hear customers talking about it. When we talk to them, they might have BO, or they might not smell business objects.
Business objects.
Yeah. They might, or what's the other one? Click. We sometimes.
Yeah, click.
People have that.
I got stuck using that for once upon a time in a galaxy far, far away. Not a fan.
Well, we work with what customers have because they want to migrate.
Yes.
So I work with a lot of the migration. So, they've got it. They don't want to rewrite hundreds of reports. So we just make it work with that product. So
I have a customer right now who used to do business objects. So I've been hearing a lot about business objects recently. They are now doing Power BI, which is why we're talking. But yeah. So I know a lot more about business objects than I did a couple weeks ago.
Well, that's the thing. You when you look at other. So I find looking at other competitors' products or working in different products gives you a better understanding of your own of the Microsoft product, because you appreciate, they did that really well, but they don't do this other thing as well, and we do this really well, but we don't do that really as well. So I think it gives you a better understanding.
And it's funny, that's the same reason that I like teaching and speaking, because I'm always looking at somebody else going, they explained it better than I did, or, that I could do this better, or, when somebody asks you a question, that's like basically my whole reason for, wanting to do that kind of stuff, because I think it really helps in learning and applying stuff.
So how did you get into this teaching, consulting malarkey?
So basically it was to disprove something that Steve Jones said. I don't know if he knows this, but I went to SQL Saturday San Diego with a girlfriend, and because from where I live, that is a 4-hour drive, and people from Arizona love San Diego. They even write songs about us. They're not flattering, but it's very nice there this time of year, and not so much here. But there was no session that I wanted to go to, so I went with a session with her, and Steve Jones was talking about how you could really improve your career if you taught and blogged. And I was talking to my friend Paula. I'm like, Paula, afterwards, because it's rude to interrupt people, but I'm like, Paula, really, because you don't think that's real, do you? She's like, oh, I think so. And I'm like, nah. So basically I was said, well, put your money where your mouth is. And Steve was right, and I was wrong. And I'm not sorry that I started doing it.
Oh, okay. So how long have you been working, training then? So what were you doing before? Were you?
So it's just, it's so a little bit of backstory in case my dad's listening. So when I was in school, I had no idea what I was going to major in. 94% of all college freshmen have no idea what their college in the U.S. version, not in the whatever version you guys have over there in England, university. University students have no idea, 94% of them, what to major in. And I put journalism because I like to write, but I really like history. And so I was talking to this graduate student about what you could do with the history degree. And she's like, all sorts of things. Waited tables, sold shoes, done real estate. I'm like, okay, that's not going to work for me. And I was talking to my dad. He's like, well, you can do whatever you want. Just make sure that you can support yourself, because I'm not going to do that after college. I'm like, okay, so what am I going to do? And the only thing that I really liked was computers. So I have a degree in MIS, which is Management Information Systems, which is computers and business. And so I've, did that, but I wasn't that serious about it. I just kind of going along with it until 2014. And I became an MVP in 2016. So I started teaching classes in 2015. So since then.
And it's just, so what did you do to get your MVP? Or is that it was just from blogging? It was just talking?
No, so blogging and talking. So in topics that Microsoft cares about, obviously, because you talk and Microsoft is not terribly interested in your subject material, then you're not going to be an MVP. But and I really enjoy the networking part of it too. I wasn't on my own at that time, which allowed me to be a member of the best alumni group there is, the consulting company that I used to work for. A number of people work for Microsoft that used to work there. Hey, Brad. Hey. I could name a whole bunch of names off, but I won't. But with that, I've just gotten to know a lot of people, and that has helped me learn more because when you're around a lot of people, even virtually like this, who know a lot, it starts to rub off. And I really enjoy speaking and talking about tech. And now that I have my own consultancy, I get work that way.
Oh,
so
cool.
Like meeting people, them saying, "Hey, can you do this?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And here's my rate. So it's worked out. I suck at marketing. Although I will say that as part of my pre-con, I actually hired somebody to put together a video. And since there's no longer making any movies, the guy who did it's a former film guy. So I think he did a decent job.
Can you, are you going to share that with us or post it up?
I don't know how to do that. So I know where the link is, and I can chat it at you.
We can put it in the, actually, we could put it in the YouTube.
I did chat it at you.
Yeah. Yes, you did. I don't know if I can play it though. I don't know.
Well, so if I sign into chat.
No, what's it still? Oh, you're not. Oh, sorry, I've broken things.
I don't know if I can sign in and talk to myself. Well, that'd be kind of weird, huh?
As soon as I start messing around with, so there it is. Genius. Okay, I don't know if
I will screw this up for sure. I don't know either.
Okay, I can put us on. Let's have a look. Open. Can you hear that?
I can hear it. I can't see it, but that's just because,
I've got to put it on web screen.
Okay. Now I can see it. Let's start slow, so this is a good part for it.
Hi, I'm Ginger Grant. You may know me from my blog at DesertIsleSQL, or maybe you've attended one of my online training courses at DataCamp, or perhaps
I don't know how if this is working that well, but
I don't know how loud it is, but you can see you can see the visuals.
So I can show you what's going on in my pre-con and Azure Synapse.
It should be coming through the mic.
On November 10th, I want to introduce you to a product which just might change the way you work with data in your environment, Azure Synapse.
Yeah, I can hear it.
This unique, powerful product, which was introduced by Microsoft in November of 2019, adds a myriad of different capabilities under one unified environment. Data scientists, data engineers, cloud architects, data developers, visualization specialists, DBAs, and security professionals all have a broad spectrum of requirements for how data should be stored and secured in order to meet the needs of their organizations. Azure Synapse contains a unified set of development tools to produce meaning from data. Azure Synapse includes the ability to rapidly handle big data, implement machine learning.
It goes on for like 2 minutes, but you put a lot of work in it.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, I kind of like the Azure Synapse logo with electricity. Hopefully that won't make anybody mad.
No, I'm sure it wouldn't.
If so, I'll hear about it.
That's quite groovy. Those animations.
Yeah, blowing up the Power BI. So
how do you deal with a product that's in a public preview? Because stuff is going to change. So
I just basically say, well, it's going to change, deal with it. I do Power BI, so I'm used to things changing on me and then saying, oh, where the heck did they put that? But in Synapse, actually, the issue that I had with it was, things not working as I hoped. And they have resolved those. So the things that I see in Synapse, I see it getting better, just changing. And it just gives me more material. So if I talk about this later, I've got more things that I can do because I just have looked at things, have done things that I haven't gotten to yet. So
here's a bit where you're promoting your
Yeah.
It's really nice, isn't it?
Yeah, it helps. Yeah, I think so. Hopefully it helps a lot of people find out about it that didn't know about it before. But I'm really new to video. I do have the mic though, because I've done some audio. But now that everything's gone virtual, it's something that everybody has to do. But I like the cartoon because I hate staring at myself. I mean, who likes looking at themselves all the time? Maybe somebody, but
yeah, but not me. No.
Not me either.
That's one of the reasons why these are live, is because I don't have to go back and edit them.
Oh, yes.
And although I've done another one of the, I was editing one of these. I did another one of these. It's a secret. It's called Blue Harvest. I'm trying to see. No, it isn't. Blue Harvest was the code name for Star Wars, so it was never called Star Wars. It was called. So no one knew what they were filming. Or
there you go.
It's. Have you watched Hot Ones on YouTube?
I have not.
Okay. See, more references you don't. We're going to get onto even more references you don't understand. It's people eating hot wings.
Oh yeah. Well, I remember when people were doing the insanity chip.
Insanity. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
Yeah. Insanely hot chip.
Yes. Yeah.
But I wanted to tell you that I did practice talking to English people because I talked to Rodney Kidd before this, so that I would have experience in remembering how to use words that you guys know, and remembering to always use Celsius and things like that. Rodney says hi, by the way.
Oh, does he? Is he on, or is he just tweeting?
I don't know if he is or not. He said he might be, but I was supposed to also ask you about SQL bits Telford, not the most recent one, and something about beanbags, and he said it wasn't indecent. So. I have no idea.
Well, they were giving away beanbags. Which beanbags? Ah, yes. So they were giving away. They were selling the beanbags for charity at the end. So Rodney wanted some beanbags. I was giving. So Rodney and I live relatively near each other, probably only 20 miles maybe. And
really?
So yeah, I hardly.
So you're a Norfolkian then.
Yes, yeah. So that's how many things.
I was going to say, yeah. Raise your hand. Yeah.
Yeah. I used to live down in Southampton, which is near the Isle of Wight, and then you've got webbed toes when you live down there. So I'm used to these kind of nuances.
Well, you're near John Martin if you're down that way.
I was, yes. We could talk for hours about John Martin. I made John Martin.
Oh no. Don't say that because he'll give you mean looks, and then you're just going to want to die because he's very scary looking, but really, really nice. Oh,
he's a teddy bear. I gave him his first speaking opportunity at Southampton User Group. He doesn't like to tell people he's a teddy bear, but he is. If you do,
no, that's Steph's thing. That's Steph's role.
Oh no, she's mean. No, Steph is mean. No.
She knows John's a teddy bear.
Oh yes, yeah. I'm sure. Yeah. No, John is. She is. Yeah, you don't mess with Steph.
No.
No.
She's a lot of fun.
You only mess with Steph once, and that's
just once. I never go there.
Yeah.
I'm not that stupid. It may look it, but no, I try not to mess with people that like Steph.
You never get a chance to mess with them again. That's a problem.
No, yeah. But I have been on your side of the pond. I was at SQL Bits when they were in Telford last time. Didn't see you there. Saw a whole bunch of other people, not you, that I remember anyway.
What was the party? I only remember them by the party.
Disco.
Yes. So you probably would have seen me and some other Microsoft people dressed as a YMCA.
Okay. Yeah, I remember the YMCA people.
Yes, and I was the cowboy in an ill-fitting shirt. My podge was stomach was slightly stretching the shirts a little too much. And then I had, are you a friend with Jonathan Allen? The Allens, as we call them.
No, not, I don't know John Allen.
Oh, okay. So he was basically he kept asking me why I was always half a beat behind everyone else. Because I can't do it. Why?
You didn't practice. Well, see, it's a state learning thing. Here in the U.S., people practice that when they're inebriated. So, you learn it. If you practice it when you're sober, it's just not going to work out the same way. No.
And I was watching. So we had one of the dancers who was in front of us showing us what to do. So I was just watching her. I was just doing it after she did it rather than doing it.
You've never done it before?
Well, I'm aware of it. Yeah, I may have done it in the privacy of my own home.
Oh, I see. You don't attend those kind of parties.
No. I mean, the only time I go to those parties is at SQL Bits.
I see.
So you haven't been to one since Telford? Since that Telford?
No, I haven't. Well, I didn't get picked for a pre-con, and
Boo hiss.
I didn't apply this last year because I run the Arizona Data Platform Users Group. We handled the entire state, and ours was going to be the same time, so we both got canceled. Unlike SQL Bits, we haven't rescheduled yet. I got to figure out what I'm going to do with that. So,
yeah,
not sure yet.
I mean, we're not sure whether SQL Bits will reschedule. I mean, I've got no insight, so
I don't know. That's like kind of a purple frog question, right?
It is, yeah. It's that kind of question, and
Yes.
I haven't asked Alex. I don't want to put him on the spot because
I mean, this is a tough situation, and I'm just happy that we weren't further along in the planning of SQL Saturday in Phoenix, because otherwise we'd be out more than the money that we are out now, which is like $2,500.
Really?
Like
Is that from the venue you couldn't get back, or from
the venue? And we bought shirts, and those are non-negotiable. So got a bunch of shirts. Actually, I canceled the order, but they won't give me the money back.
Oh.
So at some point in time, I will reorder shirts from them, and I have a credit. But
Right. I mean, as long as I guess you need a new logo if you've got the year on it.
we did not put the year on it because we were cheap that way and thought we might use them next year.
Why would you? Yeah, don't put the event number on it or anything. Just put the general.
No, we just put Arizona, so we were good. Or Phoenix, actually.
Sorry, you were gonna tell me or show me or give me an audio lesson in how you speak the Queen's English.
Oh, how to speak English?
Yeah.
Oh, it's basically, it's not about, see, I know it's basically remembering the things that like annoy English people so you don't do them. Like, for example, one thing that I've been told that English people think is amusing and, oh, isn't that cute, you little people doing that, is for Americans to fake an English accent, which is, not done.
Oh, please,
So,
no, do
well,
it.
attempt to do it. But
why would that be annoying?
I've heard that that's annoying. That you think that we're making fun of you. I don't know. I do know that like here in the U.S., you're from Norfolk. That would be Norfolk if you're in Virginia, or Norfolk if you are in Nebraska. Two places that also have Norfolk in their cities called that. So, but knowing that a sweater is a jumper. Oh, and by the way, I kind of have an issue with you about the name and the time. So, from my GMT analysis, this is tea time. Because it's the dinner had in the evening, which is technically tea time. Not what us Americans think, which is basically 3 o'clock with the Queen and cucumber sandwiches. So you should be drinking tea, which I am. Teabag.
I really only drink coffee. So tea is, depending where you're from, this would be dinner time. So
tea time, though, some places. I understand that Rob with a beard calls this tea time.
Yeah, that's it. That's because he's from an uncivilized place.
I see. Where's he from?
He's from Somerset.
South, right?
Yeah, the sort of southwest, where they're a little hobbity. They don't travel, so it's a bit like Norfolk.
I thought that hobbity people were in Cornwall.
Yeah, it's not far from Cornwall.
Okay.
Yeah, they're interbred with the hobbits from Cornwall. I'm going to get so many complaints that I'm just going to.
Well, I can't say anything because I'm not terribly tall. Which is always I figure out when I'm at Pass Summit because I run into Jason Horner again, who's got 1.5 feet on me. I don't know if you've met him. He's a giant.
I've experienced him, but
okay.
Only when he was wearing the horse's head, and it just
that was a unicorn.
It's not it doesn't have a horn on it. Right.
Oh, wait.
This. Oh, where's he gone? Where's she gone? Here she is. Right. Unicorn.
Unicorn.
Yeah.
Now, this is it. You're stealing all your kids' toys. First you steal the letters off the refrigerator. Now you steal a little unicorn. I'd buy my own toys.
Well, I don't. Well, I mean, I think my wife had these afterwards, but we got the whole set of what were they called? The something six.
Okay. My Little Ponies.
Yeah, they were like the Magical Six or something. Princess Twilight Sparkle. We did go to PonyCon one year, and I did make.
That would be yes.
I did make costumes for my daughters, so we have them dressed up as the half. When My Little Pony did the half human, half horse things, not centaurs. They were kind of based. They were humans based upon My Little Pony designs.
Sounds like centaurs to me.
Well, yeah, they only had the 2 legs rather than the 4 legs.
Okay.
I can't remember what. They look similar to Bratz dolls. That's the only thing I can equate them to.
Okay, this is really going great. You're equating like more dolls to more dolls.
Yeah,
so,
I'm
really improving your street cred with me.
I'm losing you. Come back. Let's try and veer it back. And I had a Doctor Who's t-shirt. That's as far as I went. But yes, it was. There were lots of pony events and lots of stuff going on at the same time, but then when it got to about 6 o'clock and everyone was leaving, then sort of the adults were coming in, and it was then more of a kind of we didn't stay for the after party type situation.
Not with the children. No,
they wanted to. We had to get back to back to bed and look at what was bought. But it was a little bit creepy. Imagine lots of Jason Horners walking around, lots of people in horses' heads.
No, wait a minute. See, Jason also, all right, in addition to like him having a good time, get that, but he's also bailed me on a couple of technical things. So does actually have a brain when he's not drinking.
No, I didn't. I just meant, lots of people with horses' heads on, walking round. Like, I did think my wife had actually pulled somebody, because someone was like following her around. Okay, all right. Never mind. Where were we? Yes. So it's boot, not trunk. Pavement, sidewalk. I don't think anyone really cares. I think most people in England just find it amusing to say that it's a problem.
And the thing that's on the end of a pencil, you call what?
I call the end.
The end of a pencil, the thing that takes off the markings on the paper,
is an eraser.
Oh. I see.
Yeah,
you know the American.
You wanted me to say rubber, didn't you?
That's what you call it.
Yes, and apparently aluminum is actually the American one. Is actually the correct pronunciation.
Like synapse versus synapse.
I'm not.
Which is what Simon says.
Yes,
hey, Simon.
I thought it was synapse, but
it is in your part of the world.
It's a bit like Azure. I don't even know which one is right now. Azure?
The stupidest thing I heard on YouTube is Ashur. And the person who was doing this video was selling training, and I'm thinking, I wouldn't buy it from you. You don't know how to say the word.
No. If you're selling a product and it sounds like you're sneezing, don't go anywhere near it.
Yes.
Yes. So. I don't live very far from Mr. Kidd. Yes. He filled the car with beanbags to the point that I couldn't see out the window full of beanbags, and I think we had to have the seats pushed forward, so I was driving with my knees sort of around my ears.
So given that you live in England and have a small car, that took what, 1 beanbag?
I think we got 3 or 4.
Wow. What were you driving, a Mini?
No, but it was still a small car. And we had to give some beanbags to somebody else to bring back in their car. Yeah, because I turned up at my car with like 2, and Rodney turns out with another 4. It's like, no, this isn't going to work.
No.
I think somebody else emptied the beans out of their beanbag. Was that?
Oh, that's a mess. Have you ever been in a place where in college, I was at a friend's dorm, and somebody jumped in the beanbag, and you can just imagine what happened. It exploded. And the thing that was horrible about that is I just happened to be in the room when this occurred, but I went to school in Arizona, and it's very dry here. So with that static electricity, those stupid things got all over me, and they don't brush off really well. They stick to you like glue. So it's nasty. So I can't imagine emptying a beanbag. I don't want a beanbag badly enough to empty it. It's like popcorn peanuts. You just don't want. They're everywhere.
I did empty them. We had them, and I emptied them to try and get them into the loft. And then I tried to put, and it just, I think like for like 2 years afterwards, my wife was still complaining there were still beanbag beans lying around the house, and you'd open the loft hatch and some more would just fall down every time.
Hey, look, Christmas, it's snowing.
Yeah. Do you know what? You're an MVP. We should do the MVP.
Yes,
I haven't done the MVP quiz for ages.
Oh, there's a quiz.
There's a quiz. Do you know what?
I just got my new MVP chip yesterday.
That would be, how many years is that? That'd be 6?
5.
5. All right. Are you ready? Now, I did tweak it a bit because I got a bit bored with it. So, but let's start with it.
Okay.
Are you
Pop
ready?
Quiz, MVP style.
Are
Sure.
you ready? All right. It's not too hard.
Okay.
So, what does MVP stand for?
Wow, that is really stupid. Microsoft.
You can say pass.
Hmm?
You can say pass.
Professionals. What?
You can.
Very important person, but it's not really supposed to be that. So
Microsoft
valued professional. I
Um,
remember what the little statue says, and I didn't look at it because you could tell. Mine's over there.
yeah.
This is obviously the bookcase for the non-technical books. The technical books is out of camera shot, which is where the MVP award is.
What did we have? I'm trying to remember what we had. We had a whole load of. Let me see. Oh, what's your favourite 3-letter acronym?
My favorite 3-letter acronym. Oh, geez. DAX.
Ah, all right. Busch Gardens discuss.
No place you'd ever want to eat food. Carpet that is no longer is identifiable as carpet. More fun when the locals had no idea that it existed.
Can I just? I've asked a few people because I've been once to the legendary Busch Gardens, but it was like it wasn't that great, and people were going. It was really good there. You got to go. So we went, and I just felt we were going to get stabbed. I think we stayed for one drink and left. You know, you walk in and your feet do stick to the ground, and
if you ever look down, the carpet is threadbare and encrusted with some kind of substances that, I wouldn't, if you dropped anything like, the 5-second rule, that wouldn't apply at Busch Gardens. It would be like, it's gone. Whatever it is, it's going to stay there.
I've only just got that phone. No, to leave it. Just forget about it.
You can wash it off, but not that they sell food that anybody would eat anyway. But like if I was just talking just in general, the 5-second rule would not apply there.
I was going to ask. So, have they still got the video disc player, or have they upgraded it?
Yes and yes.
Oh.
So they do have the disc player because I was there one time when they had bad internet and they were using it. But now that they have the internet, they use that, and so their catalog is much better.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, there would just seem to be. I mean, I was really just impressed with the video disc player because it was like going back in time.
Yeah.
Because they're
cheap, obviously. That's why they've never replaced the carpet. But the story is that their building may or be sold. And that's the people who own the building changed hands 2 years ago. And so the thing was they were going to close it down and do something else, but that hasn't happened yet. So Busch Gardens may not be around for longer. Who knows? Maybe close now. COVID.
Yeah, I'd imagine even just a whiff of COVID, not even any infection, would cause people not to go there.
Well, yeah, but legally they closed all the bars. So.
Yeah.
And I don't know how long they can live on nobody buying overpriced drinks from them. So.
I did feel my immune system dropping as soon as I went in. I don't know what it was.
It's an immune system stimulant because if you can live through stuff like that, then it's an immune booster.
Yeah.
Stimulates your immune system to produce antibodies.
Cool. So, what is it with MVPs and karaoke?
I don't know. I know the people who do it really well. That would be Jamie Johnston and Tim Mitchell, who are amazing. Mindy Kernot is also amazing. Megan Longoria, they have great voices. And then there's the rest of us. I'm okay, but I've been around drunks who are a lot worse. But I don't know. It's just basically, I guess it's another place to stand on stage and have people listen to what we're doing.
Okay. You would have thought if you've had people staring at you all day, you might not want to do it in the evening, but I guess it's a good release.
Yeah, what the heck? Cut up.
What's the best free thing you've had from a conference?
Best free thing that I've had from a conference. I'm kind of a sucker for any kind of bag. I've got a couple of pass bags that I have stuff in. Oh, I will say that one thing I really, really like. I went to SQL Saturday in South Island, which is in Christchurch, New Zealand. Shout out to Hamish. And he runs that one. And he, as a speaker gift, gave us skillets. That would be a frying pan in your world. That have the SQL Saturday logo engraved on the handle. And he bought a really good skillet, and it's my favorite skillet, and I cook all the time. So great. I really like the speaker because I use it all the time. And it's just a regular skillet. And I wanted to come back next year because he said whatever you had wouldn't fit in your carry-on, but I never did ask him what it was.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, it would cost quite a lot of money to ship all that, if it's that big, to ship it out to every speaker.
Well, I showed up and got it. I mean, I went to New Zealand, and that's how I spoke. And that's how it works.
Yeah.
But they do have weight limits on carry-ons in going to New Zealand. If you're flying from Australia, which is where a lot of speakers come from, because they don't consider that an international flight. If you're in New Zealand, Australia is not international. Which means they have different weight limits on luggage, which screwed me over.
Oh. I think I've only been caught a couple of times on hand luggage. Never take 3 laptops with you. Never take 3.
Yeah, so this is why. So I bought this laptop.
Ooh.
And the reason why I bought this laptop is my other laptop hurt my back. Because naturally, I can't just put that in my bag. Oh, no.
So
I might need other things.
So what is in your laptop bag?
What is in my laptop bag? An assortment of presenters. I have 2, a mouse, food, cables, probably paper towels, wipes, tea. Because you might need some. A spare batteries. It gets heavy. Just don't know why. Oh, sometimes I carry my battery backup because, of course, it's never. If you're on an international flight, you can take a battery of a certain size, and I have that size battery. So, yeah.
I didn't know you were limited with the battery.
Yes, you are. If you have a larger battery, they will take it from you.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I have the larger battery too, but I don't take that internationally. And yes, that would make my bag weigh, 4 pounds more. Which is why I need the light laptop.
I did get very good at taking everything out of my bag in a particular order and putting it into the trays to then put it back in my bag. Because even when they said you don't need to take that out, I would take it out anyway because of the hassle of getting stuck at, having to then wait for it to then get recycled back through the machine. And
yeah, it's funny because, I find it interesting if you go from airport to airport, you're like, well, this was fine coming out, but going back, oh, big deal.
Yeah. When you travel to different airports, was it Frankfurt? One of the German ones, they've got a 3D scanner. Just put your bag through. Okay. Don't take anything out? No.
What I like about international is, although the shoe bomber originated in England, you people get to wear your shoes. But, somebody obviously thinks you can sneak a bomb into a pair of flip-flops, so we have to take ours off.
Yes, Richard Reed. What a hero for just not even managing to do it properly. We also had pant bomber as well.
Yes, I was going to say we call it underwear, but I know the word. But it's funny because he's tried to stick explosives down his pants, we still are allowed to wear pants. So I'm thinking if we can wear pants, we can obviously wear shoes. Just saying.
Yeah, I don't know whether it just causes problems with the machines. I think
really, because why doesn't it cause problems with the machines in the UK? I think the problems are with the people that are running the machines.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. We know. We
yes.
Know. The only thing
they're not watching, so we don't get on their bad list.
No, they're not watching. The only thing that would I found frustrating was taking my belt off, and then when I lost weight, like literally my trousers would start falling down, and I'd hold them up, and then you get in the machine and you do this until it be X-rayed, and then you go like this, and they go, "What are you doing?" I'm stopping my clothes from falling off.
I remember being in line in the Dallas airport, and this guy walked through, and it was an older gentleman, and he wore his belt through, and they're like, "I'm sorry, sir, you're gonna have to take your belt off." He says, "I can't do that." I'm like, "Why not?" "My pants will fall off." Unfortunately, I had to leave, so I didn't understand what happened with that, but I'm sure it wasn't anything I wanted to see anyway.
I've been over to Pass Summit once, which is why I know about Busch Gardens.
You had to be there at least once. Yeah,
and we were on a family holiday, and I had to fly multiple flights, and I was in Key West, and
wow, the
security in Key West, let's just say, it was quite intimate.
Wow. That just says something about Key West. Just saying.
It was
maybe they thought you were cute.
Well, I walked through, and so and the guy goes, "Can I search you? I can do it here or in a room." And I said, "Well, just do it here. I haven't got anything to hide."
No, you don't want anyone watching.
Yeah. Well, no, I thought I'd be safer if there were people watching.
Yes, people watching. Yeah, versus in a room where all by yourself with the TSA guy.
Yeah, and so I then went like this, and he said, "Put your hands down, sir." Okay, right. Sorry, I thought I was supposed to do. Never mind. Okay. Yeah. And I think if you remember, there was an episode of Friends where they talk about a tailor. There was. I'm sure there was cuppage. It was. I felt a bit. I needed a shower afterwards. That's how bad it was.
Yeah. Well, I think the worst TSA experience I had is I set it off somehow, and then after I was done being checked out, the lady's like, really like your stockings. Where'd you get those?
That's a bit too informal, isn't it? That's a bit too friendly.
Yeah. But she was friendly. Trust me.
We've done that question. Oh, the best story you've heard about another MVP, but no names.
The best story.
And it doesn't have to be true.
Let's see. Like amusing stories?
Yes, or what other stories are there?
Well, there's some that are a bit on the scandalous side that involve drinking and yelling. So we'll just
even better. You can change names to protect the innocent.
No, that's that. So there's the thing about people who do a lot of speaking and presenting is they tend to, hey, I'm done. I want to relax. And so, drinking is involved. Well, the fact that, the people show up wearing masks. Jason's the only one. Well, I will say that there's another Jason who also does that. And he also likes dinosaurs, full body outfits. So, there's stuff like that too.
Okay. I didn't know.
It's not MVP anymore.
Okay.
That had nothing to do with it.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Are you sure? No. Okay. Right.
But he did build his own karaoke studio in his garage. Living
up to the stereotype.
That's right.
I didn't ask. Do you have a hard stop at any particular time?
I have a meeting this afternoon at some point in time.
Yeah. All right. So it's good. All right. So we've been talking. It's kind of almost. It's about 8:10 here, so it must be Yeah.
So is it past tea time now?
Yes. Yeah. I would say it would be. It's coming up to supper time.
I see.
Or maybe supper is a bit later. My mum's from Ireland, so she would call them different names as well.
Okay, so are you really a Norfolkian? Or are you born and raised, or?
No, I'm from Slough.
Slough, where's that?
That's sort of west of London.
Okay.
So, did you ever watch The Office with Ricky Gervais?
No, I didn't watch that version.
You watched the better Michael.
The American version.
Yes. Not the first season. The first season was awful, but the other ones were much better when it got into its own stride. And it wasn't.
I do think Ricky Gervais is pretty funny because there isn't anything that man won't say.
Yes.
And I appreciate that in a comedian.
Well, yes, there's a few people who are quite. When he says the unsayable, well, he's actually saying it, isn't he? So it's not unsayable. Yes. So there's a few things. He does say things. Yes, he is a bit free with his language, shall we say, and sometimes says things.
Yes. Well, it's the topics, actually. I mean, the language, that's, cussing is just kind of silly. But some of the topics that he brought up, I really like the fact that him getting kicked out of the Oscar monologue thing. That was really funny. They were not happy, and I was laughing. You'll have to watch it. Go through YouTube and watch him doing the Oscars.
The Oscar one, because they keep inviting him back for another one.
I don't think he'll be asked back now.
I have watched the ones where he just insult. Well, he doesn't insult people, but he is a little. He's not. The problem is, the thing he says is right. It's all scripted. They have lawyers going over everything he says, so nothing is.
Well, I understand that, but there's a lot of things that people won't say because of the society that we live in, and he's willing to go there. I'm not saying that anything that people are willing to say is illegal, but. Yeah. There are people that, based on their politics, they won't get work anymore, so they don't talk about politics. Yeah.
Well, I think they've just come back, or they've come back and they've been dissed again. I remember the Dixie Chicks they made some political statement and then they just got completely banned. And they just they couldn't get any shows anywhere. They're completely sort of blacklisted. Just for their political views, which is just daft.
Well, it still goes on. It's very common.
Yes, I mean we do find out. We do get the. I watch the late night shows, so Seth Meyers, Stephen Colbert, and that's the Daily Show, isn't it? And the Daily Show with
Trevor Noah.
Yes, and. I'm surprised, but obviously that's one angle of kind of US politics.
It's the angle you're going to see on television.
Yeah, but there are. I mean, you see other. Well, I mean, they are obviously taking the mick and parodying other angles.
But you don't tend to see a whole lot of different angles in politics on television.
I think
generally one.
I did watch a bit of Fox, and I just found it was very odd, and it's very kind of pro-Trump in just like everything he says is completely right, but when you see stuff like and he's being fact-checked and you're going but people believe him. He's the president.
So one thing that I noticed about the news media, and you can look this up on YouTube, is they have all the same stories. So Fox may have a different spin on it, but if you look at Jim O worked out in back when it was open, they would have all the news up at the same time, and they all cover the same stories to bigger and lesser degrees. And there's no way that happens without coordination. And on YouTube, you can look at the local news, and they have the exact same scripts.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure the UK is exactly the same.
The one that I saw was something about Easter, and they all did the same stupid pun about hopping along. And this was over 200 different news stories, over 200 different states in the U.S. Channels had the same exact script.
Is that laziness, or is that...
No, it's not laziness. You have to coordinate that. I mean, how is everyone going to get the same script unless somebody sends it out? Somebody sending it. I mean, that's the only way it's possible. Yeah. How do 200 people read the same thing because they have the same text? I mean, that's the only way that can happen. So...
Well, we have the same thing where certain newspapers are owned, like quite a few newspapers on one side are owned by one publishing group, and then you have on the left and then on the right you have the same newspapers with different newspapers, and they're all owned by that, and then they all have basically the same sort of stories with the same sort of spin in them.
In the US, there's only 6. There's only 6 publishing companies.
Yeah, I think there's only. I can't remember which the main one.
Yeah, so there's only 6, and so they own everything.
Yeah, well, that's the only way small companies can scale is by basically getting stuff from larger companies. Small building up. Do you know what?
It is what it is.
Right, we've done two more questions.
Okay.
Sorry, I'll let you go. So I'm going to ask you a question from the Richard Herring.
Question.
Richard Herring. So I have to do the lead up. Sorry, the Richard Herring emergency question book.
Ooh.
So you won't be familiar. So you've got a pass to not be familiar with Richard Herring.
I don't believe I am, but I will write that down.
But he's a comedian in the UK, and he does interviews, and he has these emergency questions he asks, and then has so many he created a book. And then
that's interesting.
And so there's 1,001 questions in here. Some of them are family friendly, which if you pick one, we will skip over, as I did with Jess. Yes. And then, so pick a number between 1 and 1,001.
42.
We've had 42.
Of course you have, because that's Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
And that is...
Put a 0 next to it.
I don't know whether you can see that.
42.
Which side am I looking at? I need to make sure. Sort of work out which
42.
camera. Yeah.
Have you ever tried sushi?
Have you ever tried sushi? I've got a little circle next to it. Let's do another one. Oh, unless you want to. Well,
I can expound on that. So I live in the desert. It's currently 39 degrees. 39 degrees. I live 300 miles away from any large body of water where fish might be found. The current temperature on the tarmac is probably 50. So, bad idea eating sushi here in the summertime. Just saying. Don't do it. If you're ever in Phoenix, skip sushi until it's cold.
So have you got extremes of heat and cold then in Phoenix?
It's extremely hot, and that's why people don't live here. And then when it's not extremely hot, it's nice.
Oh, okay. All right.
It rarely gets to 0. And when it does, it doesn't stay there.
Oh, okay. It's not like a real proper desert that's like really hot during the day and then like -10 at night or something.
So no, because we have concrete, so we have a heat island going on.
Of course you have.
And grass. Grass is also a great insulator of dirt.
Ah, I hadn't thought about that. Because obviously, the sand doesn't keep it.
No, so I live in the part. So here's some useless trivia for you. In the world, you know the cactuses that have the arms on them? Ever seen them? The classic ones? Okay, they're called saguaros. That's the correct pronunciation of them. And they're found only one place in the world, and that's in southern Arizona and a little bit into Mexico. There are none in New Mexico, California, or Texas. Just in Arizona and a little bit into Mexico. And they grow only between the elevations of 2,000 and 4,000 feet above sea level, and after that, they don't grow. So when you're below that, they don't grow either.
That's really specific, but they're the cactus we all know and love.
Absolutely, and they are very protected here in the state of Arizona because they take so long to grow. Yeah. And if you water the bottom of them, they'll fall over.
Oh, because they just don't.
They can't take that. And if you have the sprinklers going on them and they hit the bottom of it, in about 2 weeks it'll fall over.
Does it just rot?
Yes, rots. And inside of it, they have these. It's funny because you think cactus. What's inside of that? They're little spines that are about as big as your finger, and there's a bunch of them, and that's what's inside the cactus.
Oh, I didn't
and they're
know
held
that.
together by whatever makes the cactus squishy. Yeah, I'm a quasi-native.
I'm just an immigrant in these parts. I wouldn't be able to tell you what's a native plant and what's, we've got grass and we've got trees and we've got.
Oh, well, this is like the other side of the moon. I mean, where I live. I mean, we've got saguaros, we've got prickly pear, we've got ocotillo, cholla, and burr bushes, And basically everything has pickers on it. So no place you'd ever want to walk barefoot.
You don't have trampolines growing wild out there, do you? Because we have them in the UK.
Only in air-conditioned places do we have trampolines.
Of course, yes. Just wait. So the people just stay out of the sun, stay outside. They just don't go outside.
They avoid the outside. That's why we do not do daylight savings time here, because we want to get up when it's early. My bank has a cover over the handle of the door because they are west-facing, and if they didn't have that, you would burn your hand some parts of the year. And that's common for buildings that are west-facing. Their doors are have like vinyl coverings, so you won't burn your hands.
So I can't remember, like 20, 25 years ago. I presume when you were young, when your parents had a car and you didn't have polarized windshields or windscreens, so windows. So the inside of the car in the UK would the vinyl would get so hot, your skin would burn.
Yeah, I remember that from when I was a kid. We had towels in the car.
Yeah, see, it would be so rare that we would have that. It'd be that hot. You would just get in and burn your skin. And
so people here, they sundial their parking. So I used to work at a place that has a giant parking lot. 1,500 people work there, and if you got there early in the morning, you would park next to the building on the east side because that got the shade in the afternoon. So it wasn't the spots near the door that would go first. It would be the spaces that have the shade when you're ready to leave. They would go first. And if you have, and like right now, this time of year, if there's a parking spot that has shade, it'll go before the one by the door.
We've done that before, but you kind of find a nice tree, but then we don't have the same kind of, but then you're going to get covered in bird poo. And that is the downside. Yeah,
but it's not. We don't have as many birds, I don't think, so we don't have to worry about that as much. But we have birds. We have these great little quail that have little hats.
I presume. So, are all the native animals quite small then, or nocturnal?
There's a lot of them. Well, lizards aren't.
No,
snakes aren't.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I don't think they're not animals. They're monsters.
Okay, jackalopes.
Jackalope. What's a jackalope?
Yeah.
Is that like a deer?
It's kind of like a deer. It's a rabbit that runs really fast because it's part jackrabbit, and they have little antlers, so they have a little bit larger burrows that they dig.
Has he got a bunny rabbit suit with horns on it?
No, he doesn't have a bunny rabbit suit, but he'll if he lives in Australia and he's from South Africa, and he was telling me a lot of stories, so I figured that I need to return the favor.
Okay. All right. There's only one more question, which is the nomination question. Who do you think would like to have a chat with me, or who do you think you would want to subject me to, or subject them to me?
Oh, I think you'd have fun talking to, let's see, Mark Gordon, Jamie Johnston, those two guys. Mark is a big football fan. We call it soccer. And I didn't tell him this. I could have actually told him like beforehand, but I failed.
Oh. Well,
but yeah.
I don't know anything about football. I call it kickball. Yeah.
I know that it's played with a ball that they change colors on, and Beckham is no longer in it. So
yeah,
I don't know.
It was too tribal for me when I was younger. It'd be like, well, the only team I support is our local team, which was Dereham Town FC, and they're like in whatever, some tiny thing. Why would you? Bottom league? Yeah, but why would you support any team you don't live near? That's what I could never understand, living somewhere and then people supporting teams that were 200 miles away.
Well, like for example, little bit of backstory. My dad is from Nebraska, which is a state in the middle of nowhere where they grow a lot of corn and have pigs. And when I was a kid, he of course would always have the Nebraska football on, and I have gone to several games with him. I've never lived in Nebraska. I never lived near Nebraska. But I will support Nebraska because it reminds me of Dad. And as a matter of fact, we're actually looking at going to Ireland next year because Nebraska is American football is going to be played in Ireland theoretically.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Dad knows this. It's like, let's go to Ireland. Nebraska's playing. I'm like, seriously? When? So August of 2021, I believe.
That's going to be tough.
Ireland.
Yeah. Well, they play Gaelic football there.
Well, this is going to be American and college ball. So
yeah. Okay.
that's a kind of play.
I really don't. So some of my friends, so like, like Chris Tester O'Neill, JRJ,
I know Chris.
they go very big on the American football and stay up all night and watch the Super Bowl and stuff. I've never got that interested in it. I'm sorry. I feel a bit
okay. It's generally sports ball. I mean, I'll watch the Super Bowl because, you get good food when you go to Super Bowl parties. But, yeah, I'm not that big of a fan, but I do support Nebraska because of my dad.
Yeah, but that's fine. Yeah, because you've got some sort of link to them. It's just where people had no link and they just went, "Oh, this was a good football team."
Oh yeah, Man U, they're so popular. Yeah, whatever.
And they'd be like, "Have you ever been to Manchester?" No.
I'm not. So I've heard stories. Does that count?
Yeah. Are they good stories? Are they stories we can end the podcast on?
Well, I understand at the back in the day that they had quite the nightlife, and so people used to go there just because they had such the amazing nightlife in Manchester for whatever reason.
Oh, that's mostly the drugs.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, there was a whole music scene. It was called Madchester at the time.
Yes, I just didn't realize it was a drug thing. Yeah.
Oh yeah. No. It was a big drug thing. Oh, of course. Yeah. Oh yes.
Not my scene.
No, there was a whole big drug culture, and my brother went to university in Manchester at that time. No, that's not his scene, but he was at one of the clubs, the Hacienda, which was kind of quite famous at the time, while there was a shooting in there.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and we don't get them very often. That's why we remember them. We don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just thought, and is that kind of normal? And I think it was kind of seen as relatively normal.
Wow.
Okay.
That's scary.
Yeah.
Well, I hate to do this,
Yes.
but I do have a meeting that I have to go to at 12:30.
That's all right. Well,
yeah, because otherwise I would have visited.
Thank you for your time.
I have a tough time talking.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we got through some of that stuff. There are more questions like show and tell.
There's a book of
audio, which audio books you're reading, podcasts, all sorts of other stuff we could have covered.
I could have watched this one.
I was going to ask. Oh, I didn't ask you which your favourite one, but we could save that for next time. Next time, yeah. Yes. In fact, tell me how tell other people to come on your show. Please. That I know. Tell me how the day long thing at Pass goes. Your yes, I will. I will be. I can tell you that I will be standing up for it, even though I do not have a stand up desk. I'm going to be standing, and there will be interaction with people with surveys and stuff, and in addition to chat. Get 2 laptops, have 2 cameras, and then you can then talk to one and then move to the other. I got that. That's part of the plan. Oh, really? Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to spoil anything. No. That's what. It's 2 cameras and green screen and all sorts of jazz. So yeah, you have to come and see you have to look at the outtakes to see the visual effects in it, because I'm planning and practicing so that they will work out well. So I got a new computer and everything. Oh my god! I got 8 gig of CUDAs now. Have you got one of these proper business? We've got to go. I'm sorry, but there's a whole kind of. You could just. I got a Ryzen 7 processor and 64 gig of RAM because I need to upgrade it to 128 and lights and all that jazz. Well, with really cool fans in it that run really slowly and. It's an AeroCool and it's sound deadening. So because it's sound deadening, I didn't go with the lights, because if you have transparent panels, then you get more noise, and that doesn't work for audio. So yeah, and I know I've got a big fan over here at the laptop pumping heat out. Well, yeah, but anyway, yes. Hate to do this, got to run, but this is a lot of fun. Thank you, and thank you for your time, and we'll speak again. All right, take care. All right, bye bye. Bye bye. Oh, sorry. Right, thank you, Ginger. We stopped that because you had to go, but thanks for watching. All right, bye.